So what originally brought you to pursue photography?
As a kid, I always had a camera and kept updating my cameras constantly. Was always asking for a new one. But actually, I went to college originally to be a child psychiatrist and started doing some shadowing work and realized I was too emotional for that. And the little girl that I was working with, I would take her out and let her play with my camera and teach her different things about photography and how to shoot manual. And when I told her that I was no longer going to be her counselor and I didn't know what I was going to do with my life, she's like, why don't you take pictures of people? You're really good at that.
Huh.
So then I switched my degree in college and started doing photography. All because of one little girl.
That's like really cool
Yeah,
in and
yeah.
of itself.
I have a photo with her on my back. It's on my Facebook, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, her name is Anisha.
That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else that got you into the career?
I wanted to do something where I could work with happy people, considering that working with children I thought would be a lot of fun, but just hearing their sad stories, considering I was trying to do counseling, wasn't as happy as what I thought it was going to be. So I wanted to do something that made people happy.
Okay.
So that was where I started doing portraits.
Okay. How would you say photography affected your life? Did you start thinking differently on an everyday basis? Does being a photographer affect your life outside of work? And if so, how?
Yes. So thinking on an everyday basis, I would say when I'm driving anywhere, I think, oh, could I take a portrait session there? That's a really cool little spot. And I have done that a few times. Just made people meet me and then I drive them to a place and we go into a random field or woods area or something to the extent. I find that when I'm the passenger in a car, I look at everything and go, that's really pretty. Wish I could capture that. Stop the car. Get out. Do this, do that kind of thing. When it comes to everyday life, I would say that being a business owner, it consumes my life. There is no breaks, unless it's winter and nobody's bugging me. My clients are constantly texting me, calling me, emailing me, Facebooking me. It's 24/7. So there is no break between work and personal life because it's all the time.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's annoying to me. It's annoying to my husband, but I love what I do, and there's really no stopping them from contacting me at 10 o'clock at night or 1 o'clock in the morning. I've gotten a call. So
That sounds painful.
it is a little painful. I've been turning off my phones at night just because of it. But yeah, so it's not, there isn't really a break or a gap between work and personal life because I can't leave it since I am the business.
Okay. So it's like there's just two seasons, like
Yeah.
work and winter.
Yes, so about 2-3 months out of the year, really all depends, is when I get a break. But even then, I'm still constantly doing little photo shoots. It's just wedding season is from April till December, and then a few in January and a few maybe here in March or February. But most of the time, from February to March, it's pretty blank,
Okay.
which is nice.
What would you say your personal favorite thing about photography is?
It's constantly different and meeting new people, and most of the time they're always pretty happy. So that's enjoyable. Since I mainly do wedding photography, everyone is having a good time and really enjoys what they're doing and is really into the photos. When I do portrait sessions, it's kind of the same thing. They all come to me for a reason, and it's normally a good, happy reason. But I just love that it's constantly different, and I'm making new friends and meeting new people all the time.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
Alright. Do you think there are any controversial topics within the career, and if so, what are they, and what are your standings?
As you mentioned in the previous interview, the whole copyright thing, that is definitely pretty big. I didn't think about it at first when I first read your question there. I thought about the whole Nikon and Canon, and everyone argues about them and the difference between the two. And you know what? There's really not a huge difference. It's all just in the settings and how you find them. It's just like Macs and PCs.
Yeah.
The copyright thing is really big because I personally have gotten images stolen from me and used on websites, and I've had to track them down and be like, you know, you owe me or you need to give me credit for this and that and the other. But for my personal clients, I give them a copyright release form. That way that they have the ownership to the images. They can go get them printed, post them online, whatever they want to do. But then there's also an agreement in their contract where I'm allowed to use their images for advertisement. I think the biggest thing that is slightly affecting photography is Pinterest.
Yes.
Images are going on there from photographers' websites that maybe they didn't post them on there, and people are taking them, using them, and trying to recreate them. I'm constantly getting brides showing me their Pinterest boards and saying, I want to recreate this. When you're technically taking someone else's idea that they worked hard on and trying to redo it. And personally, I don't think that's very fair, so I just tell them, you know, well, you look at your Pinterest board for ideas of what you're into, but we're not going to sit there and recreate someone else's work.
Yeah.
So Pinterest is actually a good thing and a bad thing. It's great for ideas, but it is a little harsh on photographers, and people lose their work to websites, especially that one.
Okay. A lot of people silently look down on photographers for their job because they believe that what you would do with a $500 Nikon camera, they can do with a $50 like digital camera. What's your take on that?
My take is my camera can do a lot of things your camera can't.
I'm going to quote you on that.
It's not necessarily always the camera. Same thing with Canon and Nikon. It's not about the camera, it's about the photographer. I can do a lot of things that you cannot do with your little camera. Big, small, whatever. It is definitely it doesn't matter, size doesn't matter. It's definitely a skill. A lot of people are just buying digital cameras and trying to do their own thing. However, I see a lot of them struggle, and they're trying to recreate what we as photographers do, and they're not doing it. It's because we are trained, we have a passion for it, we know how to use the camera, the lighting, the settings, how to make your photo grainy and not grainy, and how to shoot in this type of lighting and that type of lighting, and how to make you look good and position you and get you to smile and create a memory. Most people think that they can just stand there and snap a photo, which is something you can do great on your phone if you're taking selfies. But if you want something really beautiful, you should probably hire someone someone that knows what they're doing. Yeah.
Okay. What do you say the hardest part of your job is?
There is no gap between my job and my personal life. I also give up all my weekends to do weddings, so seeing friends and family is very hard to do. But it's just a constant. I don't have 2 days off during the week or on the weekends like everyone else does. I'm editing, shooting, and answering calls and emails, so there's just no gap between.
Okay. Does it ever like really rush you?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Okay.
All the time. It's stressful.
I'd imagine. So also put stress down?
Mm-hmm.
Alright.
For sure.
Would you agree that photography is one of the most powerful things there is?
It's definitely a very cool thing that has happened. It's incredible that the technology that we have, that we can capture one moment in time that you can remember for the rest of your life. I tell my brides when I'm meeting with them that, you know, I want them to take good care in who they pick as their photographer, because these images that you're getting are what you're going to be looking at for the next 60 years. So whenever you and your husband have a fight, you're going to look back through your wedding photos and try to recall that amazing day where you fell in love and where you were so in love and so happy. So, and same thing with like photojournalism, it creates an emotion. You see something and you feel what that image is giving you. So it's very powerful because it can capture something in time, but it can also make you think and feel and remember something.
Okay. So you said feel with the image.
Is kind of telling you. So, wedding photography, if you're, 10 years down the road, you're not feeling in love anymore, maybe looking back through your wedding images can spark why you loved this person in the beginning.
Okay. Not feeling in love anymore.
Make you feel something again.
Photography helps reignites emotion. Part of the research I'm doing is proving how photography isn't just a job or even just a career. Now photography more affects the small things in life too. How photography captures glimpses of the past and can tell stories worth far more than 1,000 words. What would you say to that?
I would say that's a very true statement. I know in the everyday life we're constantly taking photos of ourselves, of our experiences, family, friends, etc. But without photography, there would be no history books for you to look through and to actually know what happened. When people report the news, you visually want to see what's happening rather than just hear it. So it's a way of showing the truth, in a sense, and it tells, obviously, yes, it tells a story, because you can actually see what's happening. So it is definitely a very powerful thing, and I mean, yeah, one image can tell a whole story, or it's worth 1,000 words. However you want to put that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Anything else? Any final thoughts?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you.